growing up, when I was like 9, 10, I wanted to be like a YouTuber. It's like all I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And it's not what I do now, but I remember like my first things that I saw that I was like, I want to make videos was just Smosh videos.
Really?
And I was like, it was like the thing that made me ask my parents for Final Cut Pro.
Oh shit.
And like the first thing that I was trying to emulate online was like making Smosh videos.
Oh shit, you and Jake Paul.
We're the same in pretty much every way. And I remember I was thinking about it a lot because I knew you were coming on. I'm like, oh, I want to dig deep and try to find any of the videos I made. I couldn't find any.
Oh man, that would have been sick.
Because I definitely like remade a bunch of like the original first things you guys uploaded.
Remade them.
And one thing that I didn't find but I remembered was the first online contest I ever entered was the Boxman win a stunt box dance competition.
Yes, the Boxman dance competition.
I was 12.
Holy shit, I've probably seen your videos. We watched every single submission and there were like 1,000.
So like 14 years ago, I submitted a video to Smosh.com and lost to like the worst videos ever posted to the internet. I was like, I remember just feeling crushed. I was like, I am nothing.
Wait, describe your video. There's like a 5% chance
I'm in my bedroom at the time, which is all of them, and my bedroom at the time was like this mirror in the back and blue walls, and I had a drum kit in the middle of the room, and it was just me and one of my friends from school, and we were just like doing the dance. That's really all it was.
Don't remember the drum kit.
And the blue wall. I remember because like a few years later, I entered a Taking Back Sunday drum video contest.
Oh, nice.
And to win a drum kit.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I'm learning. You suffered too.
And I also lost that. And that's when I learned I can't succeed in life.
Those two, the two evidences.
But I went in like this opposite direction where it was like, I just wanted to be a YouTuber, and that's why I started editing videos like really, really young, like 9, 10 years old. Yeah. And then like I sort of turned into wanting to become a filmmaker and watching movies later in life.
He watched Birdman on a plane, and then he liked movies.
He just thinks that's what happened. It's funny for him.
I like the way you break down your friend's movie insight.
Yeah, it's the first movie they ever liked. Social Network, Birdman, Spirited Away.
I love you, man.
But yeah, I just worked in the opposite direction where it's like I feel like most people, it's like, oh, like who become YouTubers? It's like I went to film school and I wasn't really what I wanted to do, and I realized I could make a career online, and it's like I kind of went the opposite.
But
way.
you realized that you liked making.
Yeah, I was just remaking like Food Battle and like Ryan Higa videos and stuff, and I was like, oh, I don't actually want to do this. Yeah, but there's something here that I really like.
Right. God, I miss those days so much. Just the simplicity of like. Pick up a camera. It's almost like filmmaking for kids. Is kind of what it was like at the time.
It's all the same shit. It's all the same like techniques. It's just like you just crank them really high and ADHD them really hard.
Yeah. Which now compared to Mr. Beast videos seems slow paced in a weird way.
Oh, 100%.
Like I thought that was so fast paced back then.
And your action is right. Like you as a person, you're like hyperactive, but there's like no cuts.
Right. Yeah. Well, there was far less cuts.
Yeah.
I do like hearing about how because Nick did a lot of COD stuff, when you were growing up, and I'd ask him, I'd be like, okay, what makes why do all these videos like look the same? And there's like this historical context of like everyone only had access to the same pirated software.
Yeah.
Everyone had the same stolen plugins that were easy to download. Everyone had the same 5 tutorials that they watched.
Action effects.
So it created like fucking Andrew Kramer, Video Copilot, like all of these like things. Like everyone is using like Sony Vegas at the time and Premiere and learning all the same stuff. So this like huge wave of like online video game editors who like all look the exact same, and YouTubers who are all copying like I don't know, like fucking like I think Mika Kitty was like one of the people back then who was like hard jump cuts. Yeah. And now she's like a musician. Like all these people who have like kind of set these tones for like what like the jump cutty vlog style is.
Really established that.
Oh yeah.
He was like literally like I'm gonna say a word here. Okay, now I'm gonna say a word over here.
Yeah. He still does it now.
And it created this wave of like a lot of people who are doing things, but they don't even know why.
Yeah. It was like this
and
is
maybe
just the way
it's
it
working, but they don't really have a good idea of what they're doing and why it's working.
Yeah. And it was really weird that time of the internet. It really was the Wild West, where it's like you get to invent everything on the spot. Like for the styles, there were no established styles. You were making them up, and that's kind of what I miss about that time period. It was like this hasn't been done before.
Do you think? Like now when people get into it, or like anybody getting into any hobby really would look to like people who are at the top or the most successful. Like he's talking about watching Smosh at the time and like trying to emulate or model that, right? But you were kind of number one from the jump in a lot of ways, and you're like ahead of everybody to begin with. So how do you guys like how did you guys look to people who were smaller than you to like try and craft your style, or is like everything just like you and Ian coming up with it in a room and then eventually like other people getting involved?
It was a little bit of both. We were inspired by animations on Newgrounds. I tried to be like a Flash animator for a while before I started doing
Flash was I tried
stuff.
to learn Flash when I was probably like the same age, and I was like, fuck this.
The pipeline is you either start with Flash or you start with stop motion, and then you end up making regular videos because that's too hard.
Yeah. I did some stop motion in like high school, and then it was like Flash animation. So fucking hard. I spent like 6 months making a 7-minute video.
Well, I'm gonna put time into this shit.
Yeah.
Like you need to know like calculus to move a guy like this. Like, fuck this, bro.
But then it's like I borrowed my dad's webcam, and it was like, oh shit, we can just make the thing on the spot.
Yeah.
You know? And it was pretty wild though, because there were not really tutorials for most things then. It was like just figure it out. It was like an old video game. It was like, no, you can't. There's no guide. You can't look at a YouTube video walkthrough. You just figure it out.
Dark Souls. It's like Dark Souls.